So cheating is quite common in the gay community, and it made me wonder whether a monogamous relationship is worth entering into at all, or maybe it is not worth entering. It's a very complicated question. So, the way I look at it, and the way I think about monogamy, monogamy is defined as being in a relationship with one person at a time. And most heterosexual relationships are monogamous, and marriage is also a form of a monogamous relationship that is codified into law and recognized by the law. Um, poly Polygamy is not codified and recognized by most laws. I don't think in India there are any laws that recognize polygamy in the form of a marriage. Although you do have polygamy being practiced in certain religions, it is not recognized by the law, to my knowledge. There is another type of relationship called a polyamorous relationship, in which more than one person engages in more than one sexual relationship, more than one sexual or romantic relationship, with the consent of everybody involved. So these polyamorous relationship is more colloquially called an open relationship, and it's quite common also. You see some gay couples in open relationships. So if you were to ask me what would work or what a kind of relationship one should enter into, I think it really depends on the people who are in a relationship, because everybody's dynamics are different. It's also important to recognize and remember that different types of relationship exists. So if you look at monogamy, there is a sense of valorizing a monogamous relationship because it's the most common type of relationship, and because it's prevalent almost in every major society. But just as you have monogamous relationships, you also have um, cheating, and you have red light areas in which you have women who mostly work as prostitutes serving married men. So prostitution is an industry that has survived for many years and survives alongside marriage. And what that tells us is that monogamous relationships may not always work, because it seems as though even among heterosexuals, there is a tendency, or rather a desire, by certain people in that relationship to cheat. So does that mean that a monogamous relationship is the best type of relationship? Maybe may not work for every. It may not work for everybody. It may work for some. I also think that there are. It's important for us to be non-judgmental towards people who do not choose to enter into monogamous relationships, because they may be doing it because they realize that monogamy doesn't work for them, and that they consent to a polyamorous relationship. And if that's what they consent to as adults, then I don't think it's in our place to judge them. It is important to remember, however, that if you are in a monogamous relationship, there are certain advantages. I think one major health advantage is that if you are engaging in sexual activities with just your partner, you are at a lower risk of contracting sexually transmitted infections and diseases, as opposed to people who are engaging in sex with multiple partners. It can get very risky in that sense. So there are absolutely advantages and disadvantages of both. And I personally think that it really depends on the decision to enter into a monogamous or a non-monogamous relationship really depends on the partner. We should leave it to them, and we should try to not judge people for the choices that they make with their partners.